A symphony of shadows. The curtains closed and the final notes of the symphony filled the empty hall. The notes reverberated off the walls, carrying the essence of the music that had been playing for hours. Finally, it was over. The audience began to stand and applaud, but none so louder than those in the first few rows. They were the family and friends of the composer, and many of them found it hard to fight back tears. The composer, a young man of just 20 years old, stood center stage and bowed his head in acknowledgement. Though his face was shrouded in darkness, the light of the stage cast a faint silhouette of him. The musicians joined him on the stage, and they formed a line and bowed to the audience in appreciation. The conductor then stepped forward and began to speak. We now come to the end of our performance, a symphony dedicated to the shadows of those who have gone before us. A hush fell over the audience. Everyone in the hall could feel the emotion in the conductor's words. The conductor raised his hands and motioned to the composer who had written the symphony, and together they shared a moment of understanding. The orchestra then began to play, the music rising and falling like a complex tapestry of sound. Everyone within the hall was completely captivated by the beauty of the music. When the music ended, the conductor asked for a moment of silence before finally saying, "This symphony is dedicated to the shadows that are our past, and the hope that those who have gone before us live on in spirit." The audience erupted into thunderous applause, and the musicians bowed in appreciation. Then, with one final bow, the composer left the stage. As he walked off, the conductor turned toward the empty hall and said, "This is a symphony of shadows. May it echo in our hearts forever." The lullaby of fireflies. The fields were dark and silent. The only light that shone was from the fireflies, their bright lights dancing above the flowers and grass. They lit up the night sky, creating a magical atmosphere. The air around the field was filled with a soft, comforting lullaby. It was a simple yet beautiful melody that seemed to draw out peace and contentment. It was the lullaby of the fireflies, a soothing and magical song that was heard all across the land. The days were peaceful and happy as the fireflies sang their lullaby. Every evening, the people of the land would gather outside to listen, to be mesmerized by the beauty of nature and the calming sounds of the fireflies. And so it remained for many years, the lullaby of the fireflies bringing peace to the people of the land. But one night, the fireflies stopped their song. Suddenly they all flew away, leaving the land in total darkness. The people of the land were sad to see the beautiful lights of the fireflies go, but they still cherished the memory of the beautiful lullaby they had sung. Years later, the people of the land heard a distant lullaby, very faint and gentle. As they looked around, they noticed the fireflies had returned and were singing their peaceful lullaby once again. The people of the land rejoiced and rejoined the fireflies in singing the lullaby, the same soft, comforting melody they had sung all those years ago. The fireflies sang soothingly, offering up a beautiful soundtrack to the night sky, a lullaby which continued to be heard all across the land every evening, the lullaby of fireflies. Midnight Mosaic. The sun had long since set, leaving behind an endless night sky filled with stars and a deep blue-black blanket. The air around her felt cool and crisp, despite the warmth radiating from the earth she stood upon. She gazed across the meadow below, awash with wildflowers of all shapes and colors, creating a mosaic of abstract beauty. No longer finding solace in the meadow, she looked up at the heavens, and the stars above glimmered and shone in response. She was transfixed by the magnificence of the night sky, and her heart filled with wonder and delight. The beauty before her was overwhelming, and she suddenly knew in that moment that life would never be the same. In that midnight hour, she knew she was meant for something more, something greater than she could ever imagine. Taking a deep breath, she smiled, for she sensed that her journey was only just beginning.